begin the process of putting together a draft contract for admin and finance committee to negotiate with them. And my recommendation is that the mayor suggest that to admin and finance and see if you get consensus.
Great.
So the recommendation is that we accept the proposal from Interstate Engineering. Is there any, I would entertain a motion to accept that proposal.
So moved. Second.
There's a motion and a second to accept the proposal from Interstate Engineering and begin the process of trying to negotiate a contract. Is there any discussion? Okay, so roll call quick.
Labrie?
Yes.
Brown?
Yes.
Meehan?
Yes.
Drew?
Yes.
Kimmich?
Yes.
Thompson?
Yes.
That was quick. Thank you. And then Lions Park Storage Shed Update and Resolution 3435.
I move Resolution 3435, authorizing participation in the Board of Investments of the State of Montana Intercap Revolving Program, approving the form and terms of the loan agreement.
Second.
So motion and a second to approve Resolution 3435. What discussion do we have, including updates? We'll
Boy,
start with
this
the
is-
staff.
Yeah.
So as the council knows, probably over a year ago, a decision was made to deal with the shortage of storage space for several user groups, Farmers Market, Red Lodge Ice, and Lions Club with regard to their water meters and elements that they use to take care of the park. What's out there right now is a small, I believe it's 8x10, if I'm not mistaken, shed that was placed by Red Lodge Ice. We initially had Susan Hubby, one of the local architects in town, design an attached addition to the building that we were hoping could come in somewhere around $40,000 to $50,000. When we went out to bid, we got a couple of bids that were the $70,000 and $90,000 range. So we attempted to value engineer the attached building approach. Just felt we weren't gonna come anywhere near that 40,000 mark. So we abandoned that and went to a detached, pre-built shed. So what's gonna happen now is the existing shed that was placed by ICE will be moved off that site. And we'll be placing a shed that is approximately 12 by 30, I believe. And of course, Mr. Murphy always shows up when you least expect him to show up. And several of the utilities in that area were not as per the original drawings. So our initial idea of having the long access of the shed from north-south was thwarted, and we made the decision last week, the mayor and Jim and I went out and decided that we can put the shed 90 degrees to that, so the long access will basically be east-west. We looked at a couple other possible locations, nixed those because they were really quite a bit further away, which would have been inconvenient for both the ICE group and the Farmers Market group. So the shed has been ordered, deposit has been placed, the cost of the shed, I believe, is just under $9,000, like $8,600 and change. Probably have another $1,000 or so in site prep work and concrete on top of that. And then what I would like a little direction from the council on, the other component is an off-site storage location for the Lions Club trailer that they use to house their barbecue and smokers for their different events. So we've talked about everything from just throwing a tarp over it to building some kind of inexpensive A-frame type of structure that we can then place a tarp over, probably get a couple extra years life out of the tarp, to all the way up to some kind of fabric portable garage type shelter. My recommendation is that we go with some kind of wooden A-frame and a tarp, probably be the cheapest way. You know, a tarp itself would be a little bit cheap, but in the long run, you'd be replacing the tarp probably annually. So with the A-frame, I think we'd probably get 2 or 3 years out of the tarp. So doing that, guessing a top that size is probably in the $100, $150 range for heavy duty top, and probably no more than a couple $100 for wood. Not sure who would build it if at the risk of getting slapped by our public works director, whether or not public works could do it, otherwise we'd have to hire somebody out to do it. So that'd be the direction that I would suggest the council give me to move forward with that. I believe there's a more than reasonable chance that Intercap will pay for the top / wood under that original $40,000 note, which would make it very nice. If they don't, then obviously we have to find funding sources elsewhere.
Well, ultimately, we'll have to find funding sources to repay Intercap.
Sure. And I might remind the council that the farmer's market agreed to give us, I believe it was $100. Red Lodge Ice agreed to give us in-kind labor, which we could probably use to build the 2 ramps that will be needed to get into the portable shed. And then the Lions Club agreed to give us, I believe, up to $1,000 a year to max out at 10% of the total cost of the project. So we could probably get enough from the Lions Club to pay for the top and wood, based on the total cost of the shed and that. So if that's the direction you wanna go, let me know, and then I'll try to facilitate that.
I'm just real happy to hear that the organizations who will benefit from this are willing to step up. That's the first time we've heard that from them, so that's a good thing.
I think it's a great way to go, and maybe there's someone in the Red Lodge Ice group that can build an A-frame too. Just save you getting slapped.
That's what I'm saying,
I
away from.
I know there are at least 1 or 2 contractors who are part of Red Lodge Ice, so.
Right.
And I just appreciate all of your efforts on this too, Peter. I think it's been a real challenge to go from a project that ballooned in price to then figure out a solution that's much less than we were originally planning to do. And I think it's a reasonable solution, so I appreciate that.
And I think it's worth noting that this is really the tail end of the project that started with the old Lions Den building is
Collapsing.
extremely unsafe, and we need to take it down, and thus we need to find a different space for the Lions Club and some other groups to be able to store the things that they use to help support community events.
One last thing I might add, is I'm sure Martha's probably thinking about it. So Lions Park is not yet dedicated in full. And you may recall that the council approved the resolution many months ago. And attached to that resolution was a set of deeds to exchange some property between the city and the Bank of Red Lodge. And because I'm a real believer in Murphy's Law, and of course he did show up, we put a clause in that resolution that he gave me 90 days to record those deeds after the structure was completed. So now that we've changed the structure and had to turn it, I will be paying a visit to Bart Langer's over at the bank to, for the 3rd time, tweak those deeds a little bit, and then we'll get them recorded within 90 days of the shed being set. So not gonna be much of a shift, but it is a little bit of a shift. So, and just to remind you, right now, if you were standing in the parking spaces facing the restrooms, the first 5.5 spaces from the bank towards IGA are on bank-owned real estate. Okay? And then there's a small shed next to the bank parking lot, which is on city-owned real estate. So we'll be getting about 2.5 times the size of the land swap in exchange for what we're giving the bank. But unfortunately, the line right by that shed is gonna have to move again a little bit. So.
Any further discussion? Comments or questions from the public?
I have a question. Did you want direction from us this evening about the E-frame?
If you want to give it to me, I'll work on it.
Like
If not,
to discuss?
I would say perhaps we should conclude conclude the business of approving the resolution, and then we can go on to the, advice on the A-frame. Any other discussion on the resolution?
What is the number of years on the loan? I just couldn't find it in here.
It's either 15 or 20, I believe it's 20.
Okay. So since we're actually gonna ask for quite a bit less, we could maybe think about if that influences how quickly we wanna pay it off, or.
Yes, we can accelerate the payoff and there's no penalty.
And in fact, we discussed last year when we approved this project in the first place, there was some discussion about paying the loan off, paying the entirety of the loan in next year's fiscal cycle.
Mhm.
I might point out that the loan is fixed at 2.5% through February of 2018.
Mhm.
And after that, it floats more or less with the market, plus 1.5.
Okay. All right. Anything else? A roll call on that motion, please?
Drew? Yes. Skimmich?
Yes.
Thompson?
Yes.
Brown?
Yes.
Meehan?
Yes.
Labrie? Yes.
Mhm.
Okay, what's that, Martha?
I still don't see the number of years. Gotta be in there somewhere, but I don't see it.
It might be in my loan documents upstairs. I
Okay.
got a
Alright.
fairly voluminous stack of documents upstairs.
Okay. What is the preference of the council regarding, the A-frame slash tarp slash whatever other approach?
I move, do you want a motion?
I don't think we need a motion
Then I
necessarily, just
suggest that we direct Peter to pursue the A-frame tarp idea. To me, that's a middle ground that has a longer lifespan
Mhm.
than, just a tarp that,
Okay.
not quite as fancy, that's my thoughts.
Any,
I agree. I agree, and is that going to be stored at the city shop at this point?
The water treatment facility, not the shop.
Of the water treatment, okay.
much harder to find.
I don't
Is
see-
there any objection to that plan of action?
No.
So you haven't brought that idea to the Lions Club yet, have you?
I'm sorry, say
Have
that.
you brought the idea of the A-frame and the tarp to the
Mhm.
Lions
Yes.
Club? You
Yes.
have, and they were receptive to it as well, okay.
Okay. If there's no objection, we'll move forward with that plan. Seeing none. Anything else from Public Works?
Yes, we had, a very informative, review of our, update of CIP projects that we have, capital improvement projects, water and sewer, and, things are moving. I also wanted to mention that the Parks Board, sponsored, along with, I believe it was the Community Foundation, Caitlin Essing, from the Community Foundation, sponsored an Earth Day cleanup last Saturday that was real successful. Had a ton of people there, we had a block party. The wind blew, but at least it wasn't raining or snowing. So it was great, thank you everybody who participated in that. Then, also Andrew has, given us an, ADA update, and we're planning on putting, his suggestions, in this budget year coming. So thanks again for doing that, appreciate that.
Great. Anything else from Public Works?
Oh, I forgot to mention,
Go ahead.
Also the Parks Board is going to have, a review of their strategic plan. It's going to be on May 16th, it's gonna be an all-day affair, and, we're going to take a look at what has been done before and improve on it. So, exciting.
Okay.
That's it.
Anything else from Public Works? Okay. Citizen reports. Bill. Commissioner.
Well, that's why I'm here. Bill Bullock, 900 County, Red Lodge, Montana. Wanted to come to this body, just didn't know. I am Carbon County Commissioner for the Red Lodge District. Just avail myself to you folks if there's questions or concerns or anything like that. I've spoken with Mike, I've spoken with Peter at length. But I just want to make sure that you folks knew the door was open. Office hours every day of the week, Tuesdays and